giving you useful and practical tips to help you make more money selling travel. This is the Art of Selling Travel Podcast. And here to guide you through it all, your host, Glenda Beagle.
Hey there, welcome back. We've got another episode for you. This one is a little bit different. Last week, I had the privilege of speaking on stage at Travel Marketplace, and the fabulous Kathy Denaroche was going to be kicking things off. So I knew I had to come to make sure I was able to listen to what she had to say as the very first speaker of the day. Or of the event, actually, I should say. And she did not disappoint. She talked about impact, that what you do has an impact. And I rounded out that week by, unfortunately, attending a funeral of a childhood neighbor. He owned a farm just a couple miles down the road. When I first had my first son, was a place that I worked. He owned a chicken farm. And so, as a mom of a newborn, or a young infant, that is where I worked until we ended up moving. And then, as years went on, actually their granddaughter came to work for me when I opened my own agency, and actually their son-in-law at one point as well. So, definitely it was a hard day. And so as I sat at that funeral and I listened to the stories, in full disclosure, I was in like full out tears before the service even started, because I just remember how happy he was, and just how kind. And the stories that came out during his service just underlined that. And really and truly, that's where it kind of came back to me, this idea of impact, that what we do, what we say, how we treat people has an impact. And last week, I went through all the emotions, and this idea of impact ran the whole gamut of all of them. You know, from being at the conference with the looming strike of Air Canada, which as of right now appears to be somewhat averted. But the reality is there will be somebody else that goes on strike. There will be another department, another airline, another something or other. And that's really where I kind of started off with this thought of impact, and really building on what Kathy had said. When things go sideways and our clients are looking to us, how we respond has an impact on how our clients will deal with the situation. If we respond with frustration and grief and all of this anger, then that's how our clients will respond. That's how your clients will respond. But yet when you respond with, that's unfortunate, but upside is that's why you worked with me. I'm going to get you through it. We're going to be okay. Your clients are going to believe it's going to be okay. And they're going to trust that you're going to take care of them. After all, that's why they paid you. That's why they're paying your fees, is because you're going to take care of them. So often in our industry, things go sideways on the daily. And we have options. We can respond with kindness, just like this gentleman that passed. Everything he did was with kindness and with thought out, with moments thought out. He always thought before he spoke. I can't say that was a gift I was born with, but definitely one I'm going to take away from that service and really put a concentrated effort in doing my best for that. Something else that came out of it was really and truly, the small stuff doesn't freaking matter. When we're frustrated with an airline, when we're frustrated with a client, when we're frustrated with this, that, or the other, how much does it really matter in the grand scheme of things? But yet, how much energy are we giving to it? How much energy are we giving to ourselves when we tell ourselves, but nobody's buying, but nobody's this, but nobody will pay that, but nobody will, but, you know, all of these things over and over and over again. That has an impact on how we think. That has an impact on how we perceive our clients. It has an impact. And that impact has waves that go out across it. See, when I was sitting in that service, as per usual, there was a slideshow. And it just reaffirmed for me how important what you do is. How absolutely mind-blowing important it is that you help people build vacations that they'll never forget. Because see, when they get to the end of their life and their family pulls together all of those slides and puts together that show that encapsulates their entire life, very few are of what they do. And so many of those photos are of their vacations. Why? Because they're actually connected. They're spending time together. They're celebrating themselves. They're stepping outside of their everyday life. See, what you do has an impact. What you do changes people's lives. See, when I looked at those photos, and there were so many amazing, beautiful vacations photos. There were so many times in those photos he wasn't actually looking at the screen or he wasn't looking at the camera. And yet that smile radiated off of him. Those photos hold memories that the rest of his family have for years to come. Those photos will show the family members that were either too young or not yet here what kind of a person he was. Because in those photos, there was no mistaking what absolute pure joy looked like. What you do has an impact. I'll never forget the day that a friend of mine reached out. Her grandmother had passed, and I had sent them all down to be there for the funeral and simply to be there for the other family. And she sent me a message and she said, I just want you to know how many times, as we're going through these photos, you were involved in making these memories, because it's because of you that we were able to have those trips with Gigi, that we were able to go and see her. And I just want you to know that you were a part of that. You were a part of that joy. I have dozens of clients that have given me similar messages. I have clients that I sent the family back to the last place the dad had ever been happy, because that was where he was before he found out about his terminal diagnosis. So after he passed, it was my job to send the wife and the children back to that resort so that they could go back to the last place he was genuinely happy. What you do has an impact. The choice, however, is yours. Are you going to let the little stuff bog you down? Are you going to let the little stuff be the things that beat you up? Maybe there's a competitor online. Maybe you lost a booking to Costco. Maybe whatever it is. You can dwell on that. You can choose to be in that world, or you can choose to find a different path. You can choose to create impact for somebody. And perhaps The first person that needs you to create that impact is you. Being in the travel industry, there genuinely is nothing else like it. I was reminded of that at that conference. And as I am packing my bags and getting ready to go on a spectacular trip over these next couple of weeks, I am again reminded what kind of an impact the world of travel has on us. And we can choose to be totally stressed out. I'm leaving for almost 4 full weeks. And as even though I have moments where I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I'm never going to get it all done." I also have moments of, does it really matter? What can't I just go and buy when I get to the States? What do I need to get me through the next couple of days? I'm going to take my laptop. I'm going to work while I'm gone. I'm going to accomplish what I need to, but I'm also going to make sure that I'm in those photos. And I'm going to make sure that I take the time so that when my turn comes and my family's putting together my slide deck, I have that happy, pure joy because I took time to travel. I took time to build memories. This is going to be my husband's 50th birthday that we're celebrating. We're going to go and explore. We're going to have the ultimate relaxation. We're going to have fun. It's not always easy, but the choice is yours. You know, when I was at the conference, somebody said, "Oh, I'm so overwhelmed." And I said, "I get it, but overwhelm is a choice." I have a coach that tells me that all the time. Overwhelm is a choice. You choose to be overwhelmed or you choose to take action. Again, what your choices are has an impact. The choice for you, will that impact be for good or not? You have a choice. What you say has impact. What you do has an impact. How are you going to use yours? How are you going to use your most powerful gift to make everything better? Until next time, happy selling.